normally when making a video like this, I would have the book with me and like hold it up and look all cute and adorable. But my friend is borrowing the book right now because he said he was going to read it, and we're currently on year number 2, and he's still not halfway through. But he's taking his own time. We can't rush people. But the Moby Dick, yeah, this is like maybe my favorite novel. It's either this or The Sound and the Fury. I think I mentioned that when I talked about Faulkner briefly in one of my comment replies, I think, on the Vonnegut video. But or no, it was on the very first one. But regardless of that, Moby Dick is a beautiful book. I mean, I think that it's kind of like saying the Beatles are a good band or saying that Mozart was a good composer to say. I mean, it's maybe the most acclaimed American novel ever made, but there are certainly a lot of people who were forced to read it going to school and had a really bad experience with it, and as such have a very negative experience of the novel. And I think I kind of just want to talk about my feelings on that and also a little bit of my feelings on the book, because I had an amazing experience reading it. I took a summer, so like, well, maybe not the whole summer. I took about 2 months out of the summer to read it very slowly and go through. And right from the beginning, in the very first chapter, there's a line that's something along the lines of water and meditation have always been married, and were Niagara but a drop of sand, would people travel so far to see it? Reading that, I immediately was like, oh, this is for me. Like this is really interesting and cool. And I think Melville's writing is just gorgeous. I mean, there's certainly books that have more tear-jerking moments, but in terms of just capturing the scope of what it is to be alive, me as a 21-year-old, it's up there for me in works of art I've experienced that do capture the full, the full breadth and scope of just like we're all dropped into a world and we all feel lost with no real tangible direction or whatever. And look, I think on one hand, introducing kids like high schoolers to works of art like this is valuable, right? But the issue is that teachers, at least in America, teachers are often taught to teach books like they're math equations. Like there's a formula with a solution. If you can understand the mechanics of a story, then you can understand what it's telling you. It's delivering a message. I don't believe art works like that at all. I think that art is a gateway to the divine, and it's meant to evoke feelings and ideas, and reading should be a time where you give yourself space to dream, reflect on your life and your existence and everything. And that's really something that I found on my own because of my own experiences with art, instead of like, I don't know, just anything that was taught to me in school. This is why a lot of my friends who are very into art, who I talk to frequently about them, they're really not like the academic types. Because don't get me wrong, there's a lot of value in analyzing the formal qualities of writing, prose style, understanding like references and symbolism and sort of breaking down. It can certainly make you appreciate the amount of thought that goes into creating something like a book, but I don't like that that's sort of shown as like, if you can understand that, then you understand the work of art. To me, art isn't something that you should be like understand or not understand. It should just be something that you can always think about. You can always, like for example, with movies, a film like Mulholland Drive, you can watch 3 times and have a different understanding of it each time you watch it. I think of light as like I think of art as like a light bulb. It illuminates many things, and as long as it is supported by the text, there's not a right or wrong way to interpret a work of art. What matters is that you're engaging with it, and what you find meaningful about a work of art can change so much as you go through your life. Again, reading something when you're 15 versus when you're 25 versus when you're 50 are very different experiences. And Moby Dick is one of those things where it's just like, it's a book so embedded in metaphor. It's maybe the best example if you were to explain the importance of metaphor in writing. That whale, it takes it from being a story about guys looking for a fish, into a story about everything. That's Metaphors are one of the first things you're taught, and they're one of the most complicated things to understand, and actually like how it's implemented into stuff. Because, I mean, when you learn a new language, metaphors are usually the last thing that like you sort of figure out. Besides maybe slang. I don't know. I don't actually. Don't take me too seriously on that last point. I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to learning languages and stuff. But that's what I've been told. So anecdotally, it kind of I don't know. It kind of makes sense. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all for right now. But yeah, I love Moby Dick. I think it's one of the best novels. And if you read it in high school or you read it in maybe in college and you only had a short time to go through it, I think it's one of those works of art that, it's not for everybody, but it is really acclaimed for a reason, and it is something that I think is best experienced when you can kind of live with it for a while. Those chapters are short, but there's a lot of ideas in them, and it's something that I admire whenever an artist can pull that off of putting so many ideas into each part of their thing. It's something I try to do a lot when I write or with my comics or my music or everything. Like, I try to put as many ideas as I can into each part of it and then allow them to sort of connect and flush each other out as it goes through. Anyway, though, I think that's all. I gotta go to work.